Chapter 121, Shir Lamale says, Ve'in Elohim Yan Yov Yezer, Yezer Nimadenu Yisrael Shemaim V'Oretz. Aliti Lamed Reglech, Al Yonim Shomrecha, Yinei Lo Yonim V'Leish Shom Yisrael, Adenu Shomrecha, Adenu Tzilchad Yad, Yeminecha Yom Hashem Yishla Yakeko, V'Yerir Ba'Loilo, Adenu Yishmocha, Mikol Roi Yishmoch, Nafshecha, Adenu Yishmoch Tzisach, V'Yechom Yatov Yad Oilom, some tzedakah. And my dear friends, today is the last time I will be speaking to you before Pesach. And in fact, I'm afraid that during the Chol HaMoed, I'm not afraid. We won't need to talk. We will all be dancing in Yerushalayim with Mashiach. But if God forbid we're still in exile, I just need to tell you that during Pesach I will not be able to register. My studio is in a Chometzdike place, which I will not be able to share with you some thoughts. But I trust you. You'll have plenty of thoughts to think of. So today, as the last time before Pesach, I want to share just a few thoughts and with one basic theme of the Seder. Now, the Seder is an experience. The Seder is not a recital, running through quickly what we say and then go to the meal. The Seder is an experience of a dichotomy. Two opposites, reflecting on slavery, reflecting on our exile in Egypt and further exiles, and reflecting on the Exodus and internalizing it. So first of all, I suggest you sit around the table, have everybody discussing what is the meaning of freedom. You'll be surprised about what people might come up with. It's a worthwhile conversation. But let us look at some at least, of the main things that we have to do at the Seder. We know we have to drink the 4 cups of wine. We have to eat the matzah, that is the shmura matzah, at least the kazayis, which from those hand-baked matzahs, between a quarter and a half a matzah each. We have to eat the maror, the bitter herbs, which is what makes up for the Seder. Now we see in each of these items, and each of these practices, we see it reflects the slavery and it reflects the freedom and the hope for freedom. The wine, as an example. Customary to take red wine. Why? Because the red wine reminds us of the blood of the Jewish people which was spilled in Egypt. But the red wine also reminds us of the first of the 10 plagues, where the water turned into blood, into red, which was the beginning of the breaking out of that slavery. The matzah. The matzah that we eat is called lechem oini, the food of poverty. Why do we eat the matzah? Because when we're fleeing from Egypt, we had no time to prepare a proper meal. So it reminds us the difficult moment of fleeing Egypt, but at the same time, we left Egypt. We finally gained that freedom. Both sides of the coin. We dip the karpas, that vegetable, whatever your custom you have, either a celery, or an onion, a potato, a radish, whatever custom you have, we dip it in salt water. The salt water, again, is representing the two sides of the story, of the experience. Salt, the bitter tears that our ancestors shed while being enslaved in Egypt. But it also reminds us of the splitting of the sea, when we finally made it out, and God made this miraculous splitting of the sea, and we crossed that salt water. And like this we can go through. We eat maror, the bitter herbs, obviously, to remind us the bitterness of the slavery in Egypt. And not just in Egypt, throughout Jewish history, all the bitter moments that we had. But how do we eat it? We dip it in the charoises. Charoises, which is a mixture, different customs. Some make it very elaborate, some make it just very plain, but it is something which is sweetened. In other words, to sweeten that bitterness. The charoises is also like a mortar, which reminds us of the mortar that the Jewish people had to do while in Egypt, building those cities, Pesach and Ramses. So the mortar represents the hard work. But the mortar, the concept of construction, also reminds us of our prayer and hope of building the Beis Hamikdash. It's not going to be with bricks. It's not going to be with mortar. But the concept of this rebuilding, this exodus. So the whole Pesach Seder experience is one reflecting on the difficulties and the hope for better, for freedom. And we go with the Koshel Eliyahu to the door to tell us, to meet Eliyahu, to welcome Mashiach, to welcome redemption, which is what Eliyahu is supposed to announce. Is we have to go out of our comfort zone, to go out to the door, to go to the outside, to go away from our self-imposed imprisonment and be ready to welcome Mashiach.